现在就开始哈，今天我们的那个猫队 UN 的主教练尼尔潘来给我们讲主要加拿大最大的、最主要的一个猫队 UN 比赛，叫 SSUNS，叫 SSUNS。那这个比赛是在每年是在 McGill 大学在蒙特利尔举行然后这个比赛有非常多的来自加拿大各个省的这个学生来参加这个比赛。那我们今年为这个比赛也做了很多准备哈，一会儿尼尔潘会跟大家分享所有的这些关于比赛、关于备赛、关于一些后勤，比如说交通啊、酒店呀、等等这些信息哈。So I'm going to let's get this one started. Today we're going to talk about SUNS, right? The largest MUN conference in Canada, which is also hosted by University McGill in Montreal. Today, our head coach of the Model Young program, Nirpan, he will be introducing about this Model Young conference. He will also be talking about the logistics, the preparation of the conference, and so on and so forth, right? So without further ado, let me turn the podium to Nirpan. Thanks, man.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Henry. So everyone, I'm very glad that you can make it. Can everyone do me a favor, please? If you're in the call, we'd love for you to have your cameras on. It would give me a better idea of who is joining us today. And also, if you are currently a Model UN student, or you're a parent of a current Model UN student at LinkedKey, if you could quickly raise your hand on Zoom, it would give me a better idea of who's in the call. So I'll give everyone a minute to do that. Okay, great. So maybe about a third of us are in the LinkedKey Maulian program, but we're really happy to see new faces. Again, guys, we'd love for you guys to turn on your cameras and then make sure you guys are following along. At any point, if you have questions, because we have a lot of content to cover today, we would love if you could save your questions for the end. That will make things a lot easier. So please make sure to write them down so you don't forget. And we'll try to get through everyone's questions and concerns. So we're going to cover pretty much just 4 things today. I am going to cover what is Model UN competition. A lot of parents today are new to Model UN and how it works. So I will take a little bit of time to explain it. If you already know Model UN competition or you're a longtime parent, please feel free just to relax for this section. But I would like to make sure all the parents that are new understand how Model UN conferences work. Afterwards, I will talk about SUNS, I'll talk about trip logistics, and then we'll have a quick question and answer. Okay, so my name is Nirpan. I am the most senior coach here at LinkedKey. I have been coaching at LinkedKey for a very long time for Model UN. We're really excited to have you guys at the program today. Our program has grown from something very local and very small to becoming a very competitive international team. We have had the chance to compete numerous times at the Ivy League. We've taken home many awards, and we're excited to have you guys join us. So for Model UN conferences, what the parents really need to know is that at a conference, you represent a country. So typically, you're given 1 or 2 major world issues, and your job is to figure out how you're going to solve those issues. In Model UN, your goal is not to just debate, what is right or what is wrong. You're supposed to try to find solutions, be creative and innovative. In Model UN, one thing that students will have to master is learning many different perspectives. Model UN will force you to think from many different angles. It's not just for or against something. There's all kinds of gray area in between. Also, question, Shian, just for technical reasons, should I look at the camera or look? Yeah, okay. Okay, so Model UN has a mix of many different kinds of speaking activities. You will have situations where you'll have more formal debate sections, but you'll also have elements like this, where you actually get up, you go up to people, you shake their hands and say, hey, you made some great speeches. Let's work together and write down our solutions. So Model UN, a huge component is sociability. So it is, I think for a lot of people, it comes natural, but for others, it's really tough. Not everyone is comfortable going up to people and speaking with them and introducing themselves. This is a very specific place where you can practice that, and it's essential to be a competitive Model UN delegate. In Model UN, we have two kinds of committees. So your son or daughter will be assigned to two kinds of situations. One is something like this, a general assembly. A general assembly is a standard type of simulations. Students are given a country, they have two topics, they solve those problems. And typically, once one topic is solved, maybe education reform, healthcare reform, you move on to the next topic. In a crisis committee, it's a little bit different. In a crisis committee, your job is to actually respond in real time to situations that emerge. So, for example, you might be put in the middle of a civil war. You might be in a situation where your government is under attack. You might be in a situation where you might actually be in like a creative kind of committee. You might be in the board of directors of a company. Crisis committees are considered far more advanced than regular Model UN. The awards are all the same, though. Winning at a General Assembly, winning at crisis is equally valuable in the eyes of universities. But crisis committees give kind of a variation on Model UN. It's more fast-paced, it's more energetic, but the strategies you need to master to win at crisis is different than a General Assembly. And finally, one of the last things you need to know is Model UN committees aren't just like a General Assembly UN. It's not just standard committees and standard topics. The United Nations system is an organization of dozens, if not hundreds, of different types of bodies. Your child may have to master aviation. They might have to master the environment, science and technology, law, business, the economy. So every committee will focus on different issues, forcing your child to learn in great detail really important aspects of the global system. So Model UN is a really quick way to build your knowledge base. In Model UN, this is something that I know a lot of people are hungry to get. There are essentially, here, let me just move this out of the way. There are essentially three kinds of awards. There is a best delegate, a first place, an outstanding delegate, a second place, and an honorable mention, third place. Sometimes there are position paper awards, which is not based on speaking, but it's about a document you write in advance. That is considered either the third or fourth place award. Model UN awards are really exclusive. When you go to a Model UN conference, there may be, dozens to hundreds of people in your committee, but usually only 3 people walk away with awards. Even at SSUNS, the most prestigious conference in Canada, you're going to have at most 5 awards per committee. A lot of universities value Model UN because it shows that you not only have mastered one kind of skill set, you've mastered many. You can prepare in advance, you can show your research, you can think on your feet, you're sociable, and you're willing to compromise and negotiate. It takes many different skill sets to succeed in Model UN. If you cannot do something like, let's say, for example, you're a great debater, but you're not social at all, you can't be successful in Model UN. But one of the reasons we have our program is to teach people how they can do that. And this is what a first place award in Model UN looks like. We call it a gavel. So a gavel is what you'll receive if you're able to win first at a conference like SSUNS or any other Model UN conference. So our Model UN team has been competing and traveling for many years now. During COVID, we had to move virtually, and it gave us the opportunity to see very impressive and prestigious Ivy League conferences. But honestly, we're just really excited to go back in person. SSUNS is a trip that LinkedKey has done for many years. Prior to COVID, it's a trip that we did regularly. And we've done other trips as well. This is actually an image from a trip we did in Vancouver, I believe in 2019. And our students have been able to take away some trophies, but I'll talk about that later. But very recently, I thought this was like a fun image. This was from our trip to Shanghai just about 2 months ago. At that conference, LinkedKey won about half the awards, half the first place awards in the Ivy League division. And we're really happy about it. But again, guys, Model UN is fun, but we'll have our fun moments as well, right? But we are still trying to be competitive. So Model UN students at LinkedKey, we've won a lot of awards. And I say that with the best humility that I can, because honestly, I'm just so proud of our students. They have worked incredibly hard to achieve the things they've achieved. They will put in more hours than many other programs that exist around the world. And honestly, even these numbers are out of date. We recently won awards in August, and I have not updated our schedule. So I will try to update our statistics to better reflect what we've done, but we're really excited to go to SSUNS this year. And for the students that don't know us, We are actually sending another team to Princeton this year as well. So that's where our more competitive students will be going to in November. So SSUNS is intended for everyone that's newer to Model UN who wants to see what a world-class conference looks like. In addition, we've won many awards. We have won over 50 awards. Honestly, probably close to 60 now in the Ivy League level. We were the second place team in the world at Princeton 2 years ago. And the year before that, we were the second place team at Stanford. And we won, honestly, over 100 awards easily in the last 3 years. To be honest, Model UN is such a big space. We actually have to go back and track just to see how well our students have done. So one thing I want to clarify, because this is a word that confuses a lot of parents, a lot of students. What's the difference between a delegate and a delegation? A delegate is an individual student competing in a conference. So whenever I say delegate, I mean like your child in a committee. Remember, Model UN is almost always an individual type competition. If you're in a committee, even if other LinkedKey students are there, you are judged on your own. There are some rare exceptions, but that is what you're going to encounter 99% of the time. A delegation is the name for the team. So whenever I refer to like the LinkedKey delegation, I just mean the LinkedKey team. In Model UN, awards are, our focus is to help our delegates win awards, but there are things such as delegation awards. So on occasion, for example, when I mentioned Princeton and Stanford, in certain years, we may take a very select number of students in order for us to have a chance at winning those awards. So I'll skip over this for now just because we are a little short on time. But in Model UN, actually, you know what? I'll come back to this. I'll explain it. So I don't know if you guys watch basketball. You guys know the Raptors. But if you watch basketball, you'll know that in certain years, teams try for the championship. Some years, they will explicitly say, we are trying to rebuild our team. We're trying to build on talent so that 4 or 5 years from now, we will be able to win that championship. In a way, Model UN kind of replicate some of that. In our program, we don't try every year to only take our top students. If we did that, it would hurt our talent down the road. So what we do is some years we focus on really having like the best students we can to try to take home like that cup or that trophy or that award. But most years, we just want to give as many opportunities as possible to our students. So whenever possible, we try not to restrict unnecessarily who can participate with us. We want to be as welcoming and as open as possible whenever we compete. So something you should note is some very famous competitions have very strict and complicated requirements for who can be part of a delegation. But for SSUNS, as we've done for many years in a row, everyone is welcome to join us. And what I will mention is we are also not going to cut off students by age. Whereas normally normal Ivy League conferences will say you need to be at least in high school. SSUNS has allowed us for many years to bring students younger than high school. So if you're a student in grade 8 or younger, this is probably your best chance to get an Ivy League-like competitive experience. So I also want to explain a little bit of how coaching works because it's different from other extracurriculars and different from other activities. So in Model UN coaching, this is something I bring up a lot and I want everyone to really understand. My job first and foremost is health and safety. It's something everyone will tell you because it's so essential. The main reason I will take students or our other coaches or LinkedKey staff, the reason we'll take students to competition is because we need to make sure everyone gets there and back safe and sound. So whenever an issue comes up, health and safety is my #1 priority. The second thing that LinkedKey handles, and we handle together, is registration coordination. Not every school is, like an expert in Model UN. Not every team is really focused on, what's optimal for your kids or what you need to request from the secretariat. So our job is next to make sure that everyone gets their assignments, they get them on time, and that all their details from hotel to train to workshops to everything else is handled. After that, the next thing that we focus on has to do with strategy and preparation. So in our classes, primarily, our job is to be there to give them advice, to tell them how they should be thinking of their problems, what questions to ask, maybe if they're going in the wrong direction, provide guidance. So that's our next responsibility. And the last 2 responsibilities are really what we do on the day of the conference. What a lot of people assume Model UN coaching is a lot of post-committee support. So at the conference, my job will be after a committee session, during lunch or at night, my job will be there to advise students on what they've been doing well, where they're lacking, because I have the benefit of being a third party, being able to observe them, and I'll be taking handwritten notes throughout the day. So for us at LinkedKey, we go 100% when we do coaching. Just to give you an example, when we were in Shanghai, I kid you not, there were days where I will be up with students until 3, 4 a.m. And then the students who woke up or who slept on time and then woke up at 5 a.m., they will then call me at that time. So our students can at least count on us to do everything we can to provide them the support we can. Finally, the last thing that I will be there to do, and this is the least priority, but something I'm there to observe, is just to ensure that there isn't any kind of funny business happening in the conference. When you go to these famous competitions, there are a lot of people who may try to play fast and loose with the rules, right, in order to get an advantage. My job is to make sure that when I'm in the committee, we're there to protect our students, to make sure that nothing is happening that's giving them an unfair advantage. Okay, so I want to show you guys a very quick video from one of the conferences earlier this year in Vancouver. This is just this is just to show you what a conference looks like. Shan, will we get sound if I play from here? You can't hear it through the computer, but is it playing through there? Oh. Okay, let me, can you mute me? Or wait, let me try. It should be.
If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I can take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way you like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. I want you, baby, my sugar boo. I'm levitating, the Milky Way.
For those that are in the call, can someone just message me in the chat? Can you hear the video, like the sound?
You're my starlight, I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you.
No, this one is from Vancouver.
I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. Baby, let me take you for a ride. I got you, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating. You, moonlight. You're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
Okay, everyone, I'm going to actually show you guys, I was thinking of showing you guys the video from China, but I'm going to actually tell you guys why I showed you a video from Vancouver. Okay, so we're going to now finally talk about SSUNS, guys. So I want to explain the specific competition we're going to. So SSUNS is hosted by McGill University, and it is, again, one of the most famous universities in Canada. It's located in Montreal, Quebec. You can take a look here. Give me 1 second. I just need to hide this panel. So if you guys take a look up here, the conference will be taking place from November 9th to November 12th. And it is a Thursday to a Sunday. It's going to be in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's going to be at the Le Centre Sheraton. And the eligibility is technically all students. But I want to say this. Even though SSUNS does not have any kind of general restriction, what they have requested us is that whenever we bring students younger than high school, it is expected that they are absolutely on their best behavior. We have never had behavioral problems at SSUNS. So whoever is joining us, what I expect is that they will be absolutely respectful, and disciplined. Even though you might only be in grade 6, it is expected you have the behavior, you have the poise, presentation of someone in high school. This is not about awards. This is not about how competitive you are, but it is about how responsible you are. Something we take very seriously, and we will not hesitate to, deny people spots at SUNS, is if we feel that they would misbehave during the conference. We want to make sure everyone has a safe learning environment. So that is really our only requirement. We do ask that if you are completely new to Model UN, you take one of our LinkedKey courses because that will provide at least a minimum amount of training so you will be ready for the competition. Okay, so this is the schedule for SUNS. These schedules will be slightly updated, but it's generally settled. So all that you guys really need to know is that for the competition, we will arrive Thursday afternoon. We'll get settled. There'll be some workshops, registration. There'll be an opening ceremony. A committee session is where everybody's going to be debating for a few hours, and that's the only time where the conference essentially is taking place. You will see something on the SUNS website. They call it Block A, Block B, and Block C. Because SUNS is such a large conference, they may even have close to 1,500 students this year. If every single student left their committee room at the same time, every elevator would break down. So they need to divide people into sections so they leave in 15-minute gaps. That's why you'll see the blocks. The blocks don't matter for anything. They're not about how competitive or anything like that is. It's just about logistics and safety. You will also see that there will be a tour of both McGill University and Montreal, and students can choose. My personal recommendation is if you're younger than high school, do the tour of Montreal. Just see the sights and sounds of the city. But if you're in high school, you should do the McGill University tour. It'll probably be more relevant for you. It'll give you an idea of just understanding what it's like. And from my understanding, it's always been included in the price, so there is no extra fee for that. Additionally, when you look through these things, you will see some things called head delegate feedback. We will pick a team captain. That team captain will be chosen at a later date, and we will probably take applications from LinkedKey students on who would like to take that responsibility. And finally, you will also see something called FAC-AD. FAC-AD refers to faculty advisors like myself, where we will have meetings throughout the conference to be up to date with everything that's happening, but to also make sure our students have the most up-to-date information. Okay, so before I wrap up this part, I want to mention one thing. In some countries, usually for students, for their delegate social, they will have some kind of quizzes, games, and prizes. But what's common in Western countries, in North America and in Europe, which we did not see in China, is there will be a dance on the second last day of the conference. So when most of the competition is over, when most of the debating is over and the awards are generally decided, there will be a delegate gala where the students will have a chance to just dance and party with each other. It will be monitored and it'll be observed by university students, but no parents and teachers allowed. So I'm sorry, guys, not my rule, this conference rules, but parents will be invited up for a cocktail reception on the top floor of the Sheraton. So if any parents join us, they're more than free to join with us. Finally, on Sunday, after awards, depending on when our train arrives, we may have a few hours to get some food in Montreal or just explore the city a little bit. And then afterwards, we'll take a train back. Okay, so for electronics policy, I may have to double check this. SUNS is electronic policy varies from committee to committee. Sometimes they can be used for research. Sometimes it can be used in committee. So please don't quote me on this. We will only know in the next couple of weeks and months. But all students need to practice by hand in class how to write these documents from memory. Because in many conferences, they'll simply say, you know what? No electronics allowed. I want you guys to write it out. So we don't know what their policy is yet, but I would be very careful. So for faculty advisors, one thing I want to mention is parents have asked me, can they join us on this trip? What I would say really simply is parents have generally been allowed. LinkedKey and SUNS will set guidelines on what they can and cannot do. They are very strict with it. If parents come in and interrupt the debate or do anything inappropriate, they'll be asked to leave. They will not be allowed to return. But many parents have joined us on the trip. So if parents would like to join us, we would love to have you. I would definitely love to have a little extra support with supervision. It's never a harm. And any parents who just want to enjoy Montreal are more than welcome to join us. In terms of costs, that's something you can directly contact LinkedKey for, and we can arrange something for you. But typically, we ask that students stay with other students and adults stay with other adults. And during the Q&A, if any parents have any specific questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So for this year's SUNS trip, we are actually budgeting in a lot of things. So I'm just going to go through it now. I'll go through things in detail as well. So the total cost of the trip will be 1,200 Canadian. It will include a round trip train from Union Station to Montreal Central Station. It will include a hotel, which I'll go into. It will have 4 days coaching and supervision. That'll be myself. I will be there personally. It will include the delegate fee and delegation fee. It will include a SUNS workshop pass. You will also get 2 hours with our teaching assistants as personal 1v1 coaching. It includes all the administrative costs we have. And we also will have something extra. One of our coaches or former coaches living in Montreal at the moment. So we will either have him help us out with coaching on Saturday and Sunday, or if he's unavailable, we'll provide an extra dinner. Some of you that have been with LinkedKey for a long time may remember him. His name is Hunter McGuire. So if you ever had him as a coach and you want to meet him in person, he's excellent. And we had this specific policy so that just in case there was any conflict with work, we'd be able to accommodate you. Okay, the SUNS trip does not include conference preparation, meaning it doesn't include modeling classes. It doesn't include meals, except maybe for that one dinner if we don't have an extra coach join. And finally, it does not include transportation to and from Union Station. So our Montreal trip is actually very straightforward logistically. It's not like something going to Princeton. It's all within Canada. You don't need a passport. From Union Station, it is literally a direct train. It takes about 5 hours and 45 minutes to get to Montreal, and that's it. It really is not more complicated than that. And from Montreal Central Station, SUNS is just a 10-minute walk that we will all walk together. So there isn't anything else logistically for us to get to Montreal. So in terms of pricing, I just want to kind of clarify with parents, our pricing is based on assuming at least 16 students attend, and we have 4 students per room. That means students will share a bed, so there'll be 2 students per bed, but this is something even we did in high school and everybody does. And it's a very common kind of arrangement because it brings down the price as much as possible. We do include a buffer and we don't expect this price to change. But if for any reason, we don't know what it is, this is like a standard disclaimer, if for any reason something unpredictable happens and costs are forced to go up, if costs go up, students are free to withdraw, no questions asked. But this is just something we do as a contingency. We've never had to do it and never we plan on doing it. Okay, so if you guys would like to have the details of the train ride, sorry, let me just move this out of the way for the students here in person. So from Toronto to Montreal, we're leaving Thursday, November 9th, Union Station. Tentatively, we'd like to leave at 8 a.m. The train departure time is 8:32. We'll arrive at Montreal Central Station, and we're expected to arrive around 1:43. On Sunday, November 12th, we're expecting to depart Montreal Central Station at 5:50 p.m. That's when we're going to be there. The train will depart at 6:22, and our train will arrive in Toronto around 11:30 p.m. at Union Station. We would like to make it clear to everyone that we pick these times because we think they're optimal. But if there are more affordable pricing or if prices change, these times may be adjusted. The most important thing for us is that we arrive on time for the conference, and then also that we can stay for the entirety of the closing ceremonies. And we will communicate with you regularly if there are any unexpected changes. And for our train tickets, please be advised, the tickets that we're looking at are, again, the cheapest prices we can. So these tickets are non-refundable, and they include 1 personal item and 1 checked luggage. Guys, you don't need to move out your whole house for SUNS. I have seen students attempt to bring 3 suitcases for a 3-day trip. Guys, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. You don't need to carry that many clothing. Okay, so for the hotel, we are going to be staying at the Le Centre Sheraton. That is where the conference is taking place. In Model UN, because the conferences are so large, what typically happens is the university will book out an entire business hotel. For example, when we're going to Princeton, they're going to book out a Hilton. For this one, they're booking out a Sheraton. That whole venue will generally be reserved for just SUNS students, or primarily. In that venue, we are going to have 4 students per room, and it has to be separated by gender. So please make sure that we won't have any kind of mixed rooming assignments. And for rooming assignments, in order to be fair, I know people want to be with their friends, and we will do our best to accommodate that. But in order to make sure that people get a pricing they can expect, it's also first come, first serve. So for example, if we had 17 students, the last student to register may not be given the same pricing as everyone else because they might have to be in a room on their own. So if you want to make sure that you're like 4 people to a room, register early. And if you want to be with your friends, get them to register early. We want to be as fair as possible to everyone. We can do whatever we can, but please make sure you register on time. We want to be objective and we don't want to pick favorites. One more thing I'd like to clarify before I move on. Just so everyone understands, in these business hotels, the actual discussion, the committee rooms, they will have like 30 rooms. Those will be on the first, second, third, fourth floors of the conference. So everything from the basement floors up to the first, second, third, fourth floors will all be reserved for the competition. So you don't need to leave the hotel to go to the venue. Again, students will have the chance to visit McGill University, but that will be Friday morning and it will be a guided tour with McGill University students. So for refunds and reimbursements, again, guys, the majority of the costs have nothing to do with us. They're just hotel and train and delegate fees. So refunds and reimbursements will not be accepted unless it's a really, really extreme and unpredicted like medical issue. And in any of those cases, it'll be on a case-by-case scenario. We understand that in some cases things happen and we do the best we can to reimburse as much as possible. But for trains and hotels, we just can't reimburse them. Once they're paid for, these hotels and trains have a very clear policy. They will not allow any reimbursements. And I hope everybody understands. Okay, so we expect everyone to join at least one class if you're going to be joining us for SUNS. We know that some students in the call, they might not be a Model UN student, and that's okay. But what we recommend is at least join us for one of our fall classes. It can be level 1, 2, 3, or 4. Every level at LinkedKey and every location will provide at least some support to prepare for SUNS. So if you can register, that would be greatly appreciated. And just so you guys know, we are currently at the LinkedKey North York location, and we are going to be having classes both on Wednesdays, which I will teach, and Saturdays taught by Anthony. So if you guys would love to come down and if you'd like to have a class with me, please feel free to join us. We would love to have you. Okay, so just before I move on, our teaching assistants aren't here today, but I want to mention them briefly. So included in our package is going to be 2 hours of personal tutoring with one of our stellar teaching assistants. So in our package, you will have the chance to get an hour with one of these TAs. We can't guarantee time slots, and we'll explain that maybe in a future time, but our TAs are amazing. David Meng has one at Princeton already, and he'll be going to Princeton again this fall. He is an expert when it comes to artificial intelligence and in biomedicine. He is a grade 11 student, but actually right now, he is in a world-class competition. He is currently a finalist for the US government's FDA's Veterans AI Technology competition. So if he actually wins that prize, he will create a technology used by the actual US government. So he's incredibly brilliant. If you are in a technology-related committee, David is the guy. You want to have a TA. Emily is one of the strongest students in our program or that we've ever produced. She's the youngest student that we know of that has won at Harvard World Mud, which is Harvard's university level competition. That means she was against university teams. And she won there when she was in grade 9. And now she's doing all kinds of academic research. And she's an excellent TA to have. She has been to SUNS many times. She won at SUNS last year. So she's the kind of person you want to have. Finally, we have Hallie. Hallie is our youngest teaching assistant at the moment. She's only in grade 8, but she has served as she was recently the co-valedictorian of Ontario government's PAGE program. She has served as a policy analyst for an MPP just this summer. And she has won 9 out of 10 high school competitions she's attended. And just so you know, Hallie is only grade 8, but she has won first place at SUNS 3 times. So she has won first place 3 years in a row. So if you want to be taught by somebody who's a few years younger than you, but incredibly impressive, Hallie's the person to go. We are also potentially going to bring out more of our level 4 students as TAs. And again, guys, when we select TAs at LinkedKey, it's not just based on the awards that they have. We pick whoever we think is going to be a good teacher. So we may have more TAs. I'm going to be so excited to talk about them when they come on. But for now, these are going to be our excellent TAs, and we hope you enjoy time with them. And these are just some of the awards that they've won. There's many more, but these are just one. This is Hallie winning, the youngest ever student to win at Harvard Mali in Dubai. She won there when she was in grade 5. And then this is Emily's award at Harvard World Money. Okay, so we're almost done, guys. So I will get to everyone's questions very soon. Question I get a lot: who should go to SSUNS? So the students that should go to SSUNS are students looking to improve their speaking, research, and sociability skills, students wishing to become competitive in Model UN or even in debate, and students who want to debate against the best MUN students in North America. Something I want to mention that I think a lot of both parents and students don't realize is in most extracurriculars, almost every extracurricular you can think of, if you want to face the best students in the world, you literally have to be the best student. If everything is a bracket where you have to get to the finals to go against other finalists, it's hard to improve. And for a lot of extracurriculars, that's just by design. Model UN is different. If you go to SSUNS, they're not secretly hiding the best students. You will literally be against some of the top teams in the world. The second place team in the world will be there, and they will be at SSUNS, and they've been there for the last 20 years. So if you want to literally compete against the best students in the world, Model UN gives you this opportunity unlike any other extracurricular. It is a unique benefit of Model UN, and I think that's what makes students so good at Model UN, because very quickly you get to go head to head against the best students that you can. So who should not go to SSUNS? That's another question I get. So anyone who wants to win at their first SSUNS, if your expectation is you want to win, that's okay. If your expectation is I expect to win, this is not a conference for you. The reason is I had won personally many awards in Model UN in Toronto before I went to my first SSUNS. Even I didn't win. Emily went to her SSUNS twice, and she never won the first 2 times. She is now, of course, a record-breaking Model UN delegate, but it was really tough. Hallie is an exception, though. No, you can't compete with Hallie. Hallie's another level. So what I'm trying to say is if you're coming to SSUNS and you're like, I will only compete if I think I'm going to win, 1, you'll never get good at Model UN. But 2, SSUNS is not going to be for you. SSUNS will be the best teams in North America. They will all be there. Students who don't care about competition, SSUNS may not be for you. It is meant to be for kids who really want to learn. You don't have to win, but you really need to improve for SSUNS to be valuable to you. And any students who are irresponsible, please don't sign up. Thank you. And also, any students who want to go on a vacation, SSUNS is not going to be it for you. If you're going to Montreal on vacation, there's so many other packages you can book. Just Google Expedia or Air Canada. Don't come with us on our trip, because this is meant to be for the students who really want to join us, who really want to compete. Again, guys, I want to be clear. SSUNS is incredibly difficult. Our top students are going to be going to Princeton a week later. So I expect that our newer students, those that have a passion for Model UN, will join us. And that's okay. We are okay if our students don't win, but we want our students to understand that this will be probably the hardest competition you've ever been to for anything. And if you don't believe me, when you talk to your TAs, they will tell you it. But what I would say is that is an incredibly good thing. This is an opportunity that's hard to come by. So finally, last question I get from parents is, should I go with my day school or should I go with LinkedKey? The first thing I'll mention is the majority of schools in Ontario and in Canada don't do trips like SSUNS. It's usually only very few elite private schools and the top public schools that regularly send their teams to SSUNS. But if you had to decide between the two, we want to give you a really fair comparison. So with LinkedKey, our focus is more competition, right? We have the most competitive coaches. We'll give you all kinds of support and strategy. So if you run into problems, if you want your teacher to select like the right assignment for you or do the best they can to kind of advocate for you, that's us. And in our team, we are not restricting anyone. Everyone who would like to join us, they're more than free to do so. In day schools, it may be more affordable because sometimes teacher compensation is covered out of their salary. So the school may cover hotel and housing and things like that. Unfortunately, that's just something we don't do because we're not a full-time teacher here. Additionally, a lot of teachers from public schools or even private schools, they're not there to coach Model UN. They're just there to supervise. So I'm not trying to say anything wrong about them. The teachers that we see at SSUNS are incredible, really great people, but their responsibility is more supervision than it is kind of helping students improve. So that's something we focus on that's different than day schools. And finally, a lot of restrictions exist for public school and private school teams. You will typically find that the best private schools in Canada, they will say, well, okay, you have to be in grade 11, grade 12, or you have to make the team. You have to have like all these experiences. Like you have all these requirements. And for me, even for me, it's been a little frustrating in the past because I have seen excellent students who might be grade 8 or grade 9 who don't qualify with their team. And the school says, well, you have to wait your turn. And for me, the longer you wait, the more your skills can start to disappear or dissipate. So for us, we want to give everyone a chance to compete that sometimes even your school doesn't provide. So I think that's kind of the difference between schools and LinkedKey. And I think we offer a pretty compelling package. And again, any final issue, if you run into any kind of problem or issue, any competition, academic, or content-related decision rests with me. So please do not bother LinkedKey with 100 questions about assignments. They're not going to be dealing with it. But anything financial or administrative, please don't ask me. That is fully LinkedKey's responsibility. So anything on that side, LinkedKey can handle it, and they'll be more than happy to assist you. And that's about it. Thank you again, everyone, for listening to our presentation. We really appreciate it. Henry, would you like to say a few words before we go into Q&A? Maybe just to let everyone know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nirpan. This is a pretty informative and pretty comprehensive as well. I personally like SSUNS a lot. I like Montreal a lot as well. So I'll try to make myself available and try to join the team. But for sure, Nirpan will be going. He's one of the best coaches, I would say, maybe in Canada, maybe around the world. So you guys are in good hands. So I mean, everyone is welcome to join us. Sun is going to be a incredible experience. I can tell you that. The other thing I wanna add is Nirpan is basically coaching at all 3 LinkedKey locations. So he coaches in Mississauga, in Markham. He coaches in North York as well. So most recently, we have set up a new Model UN Level 1 class in North York, taught by Nirpan. So that one is on Wednesday night. If you guys wanna come join the best coach in Model UN in North York, feel free and you are encouraged to sign up as early as you can, right? The class time, I believe, is 5:15 to 7:15 in our North York location. Again, that class will be taught by Nirpan. That's a beginner class for level 1. No previous experience required. Basically, everybody is welcome. All right. So let's get to the Q&A. Yeah.
And one thing before we go to Q&A, guys, I just want to mention this. SSUNS is honestly the most competitive conference in Canada. So one of the nice things is you're going to get an Ivy League-like experience without having to deal with the cost and the challenges of getting to the Ivy League. So if you can handle SSUNS, I got to be absolutely honest. If you can win at SSUNS, you can win at Harvard. It is really that competitive. I'm not even exaggerating. It is that hard. So if you can handle this, you can handle anything. So let's take questions. Guys, feel free to turn on your cameras and ask, or you can put it in the chat. Well, Nirpan, Eric, could you clarify your question?
Nirpan teaches in Mississauga. So he has 4 classes in Mississauga on Sunday.
Yes.
On each Sunday, right? So if you want to clarify your question.
Oh, I think that was his question.
Okay, that's the question. Yes. Check on the LinkedKey portal website, which is linkedkey-online.com. You will be able to see all the classes there, right? You'll be able to sign up or maybe sign up tryout classes there, right? Find Nirpan in Mississauga on Sunday. And also he teaches in Markham and North York as well.
Leslie, thank you for your question. We are not sure yet, but honestly, our program's quite big. So we're expecting that we will have the full team to run the trip. But we don't have finalized numbers yet. Just as a reminder, everyone, this is just so everyone's aware, we are looking to close registration within a week. So this is something that I wouldn't spend too much time thinking on. If you want to go, just sign up. We'll keep it that simple.
Okay, let me say something real quick in Chinese. Just in case some of you may wanna hear Chinese a bit more.我用中文稍微讲一下哈，因为可能有我们的一些家长觉得中文可能更亲切一些，所以我大概给我1分钟时间，我很快的把今天尼尔潘说的内容总结一下。就是 SSUNS 这个比赛如果大家以前不太了解的话，它是我们加拿大最大的毛利运的比赛。那每年一次，是由 McGill 大学主办的，然后是在蒙特利尔。我们基本上把这个所有比赛的所有的细节全部由 LinkedKey 来帮助大家管理和组织，所以基本上你作为家长不用做太多的事情。包括所有的后勤工作，酒店，我们的交通从多伦多是坐这个火车，这个 Rail 火车，Via 火车直接到蒙特利尔哈，然后我们有酒店。那跟大家讲一下，我们所有的预算，它是基于4个学生一个房间基于4个学生一个房间，这个是基本上我们在加拿大是一个标准化，就所有的学校基本上都是这个样子。那如果你或者你的小孩对4个人一个房间，或者说对这个 share 一个床跟其他的，当然是跟你同性别的男孩子跟男孩子一个房间，女孩子女孩子一个房间。如果你对这个是有其他特殊的要求，比如说我希望2个人一个房间，那你在登记的时候你一定要跟我们讲我们能不能满足，我们不敢保证那可能会有更这个额外的费用所以但是你可以跟我们讲好吗？那其他方面基本上就是刚才尼尔潘他讲的所有东西。如果你或者你的小孩没有过参加过 Model UN 的这种 training 这种培训，你是可以，我们也欢迎你来参加这个加拿大最大的这个 SSUNS 这个比赛我基本可以保证大家是一个非常难忘的一个记忆非常难忘的一个经验。那我们是希望你能够在赛前加入我们的Model UN的班不管你是在密西沙加，还是在万锦，还是在北约克。那北约克，我们为了能够让更多的学生能够接受到尼尔潘的课程，我们最新开了一个，就是周三晚上5点15到7点15，我们开了一个 Level 1，一个 Beginner 的毛利运班由尼尔潘来教，好吗？如果你有任何问题，你现在可以用中文问我们可以用中文和英文都可以回答大家的问题不管你是哪个 language you feel more comfortable, just feel free to ask. Okay?
So guys, a couple of questions. I'll try to get them as quickly as I can. So question from Germany. If you're new to MUN, but you have debate, speech experience, won awards, should you take a class first and go to SSUNS next year or this year? I think, Jeremy, I might need to know more about your specific situation. My general recommendation is I think SSUNS is good for everyone, right? When you have a chance to compete against the best, SSUNS is a really good experience. But if you're like elementary and you have some time, LinkedKey will also be doing a lot of local competition. So if you'd like to join us, that's an option as well. We'll be going to a local high school cedar break competition next month. But honestly, guys, we welcome everyone to compete with us, because one thing I will mention is the second you see the highest level of Model UN debate, it becomes a lot easier to try to replicate it, right? So it actually does accelerate kind of your Model UN career. But at the same time, we also know it's a significant commitment. So that's something where we could discuss one-on-one in class, depending on your personal situation. So additionally, what's the dress code for SSUNS? Eric, dress code is simple, super business formal. We're all going to look classy, suit and tie, dress shoes. Of course, for the dance, you got to dress like a young person, okay? Dress like what you wear to prom. But that's different. I'll let other students tell you what you need to dress. But again, for committee session, very formal. So this question, I think, actually, Shan, do you mind sending the link to the LinkedKey portal in the chat? Someone asked for the link to sign up. Question, Henry, is there any way to contact TAs for help if you aren't going to with LinkedKey? Can they book through LinkedKey one-on-one preparation sessions?
If you are now going with LinkedKey to SSUNS, can you book the TAs? Well, depends. As much as we want to help you, we have to give the priorities to the students who are going with LinkedKey to SSUNS, right? To be very honest with you. But if our TAs have actual availability, well, we want to help you. Yeah, for sure. So my short answer to this is contact us, and we'll try to do our best to help you.
And I will mention one more thing, guys. Our TA is pretty much exclusively TA Model UN with us, and already for SSUNS, that might already be too much. So I don't think it's realistic. I would generally recommend you guys come with us for that kind of support because they're also really busy. And again, guys, we compensate our TAs. We're very fair to them. And we want to make sure that we help them manage their time and their schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so next question. If I'm new to Mundo experience, but quite experienced in other debating styles, would it be beneficial? Yes. A lot of actual BP debaters have done Model UN. Many debate students join Model UN because they find that maybe it's a different kind of skill set or they can apply it in unique ways. It's really common. Many LinkedKey BP debaters are also part of our Model UN program and vice versa. So absolutely. Mm-hmm. Is it so that as long as you sign up, you can participate? For the person who has just, if parents come on with students, they have to provide themselves with the hotels. So yes, the SSUNS is not the kind of conference where there are observers. If you're going with us, we'll be in the debate. Model UN rules state that generally you have to volunteer to speak, so no one can force you, but you will not just be sitting on the side. Even if you're grade 6 or grade 5, you will be in the discussion. For the question regarding parents, one second. So regarding parents, we can arrange the discounted hotel rate for them. So for example, if there are like 2 or 3 parents that would like to be in the same room, SSUNS has a specific discounted hotel room rate. We can arrange that, but you'll have to register and organize through us. And if, for example, you would like to book the train with us, we can do that, but you have to tell us far in advance. If we've already booked things, we may be able to guarantee a certain price. But again, guys, we love when parents join us. It's always fun. We want you guys to see what we see. So question from Stella, does LinkedKey provide support before going to SSUNS, or do students have to prepare individually on their own? So generally what happens is the majority of students in our program, they're in our classes. So the second we get country assignments, the second SSUNS tells us like, oh, Stella, you are going to be in the World Bank Committee and you're going to be the United States, we will in class prepare our students for a competition like this. And for students who aren't going to SSUNS, we will give you a copy of the background guide, we'll print it out, and we'll just use it for practice and research. So as a class, we can simulate and prepare for competition. Yeah. So nobody feels left out.
By the way, Nirpan, did you answer that question? Is that so that as long as you sign up, you can participate?
Yeah, so as long as you sign up, you can participate. You're good.
I mean, again, I think Nirpan mentioned this during his presentation. We encourage you to sign up as early as you can. For purely for the reason of hotel arrangement, basically, right? I think he brought up an example, right? If there's a 17 students sign up, because we budget for 4 students per room, and then the last person will have to either pay more because they're going to be that student will need to stay in a room by themselves. Or they have to wait till more students join. Make sense?
Yeah. And Ryan, for your question, how focused will the support be during the classes? And will it mainly be directed towards a group or specific smaller groups and students? So Ryan, just to be really clear, in our Model UN program, we try to be really fair. Many of our students compete. We never try to favor one student over another. But what we do often do is if I'm looking through a background guide, you're asking me a question like, oh, I'm this country and I have this problem. Usually that will be a question everyone has. So whenever things are broadly applicable, we'll answer it. And in some cases, we might have the class roast your ideas or roast your concepts. So we have the class kind of participate. There are rules on how you can prepare for Model UN, but Ryan, to simply answer your question without getting too technical, you will get plenty of support. I will also add a caveat. In our level 1 and 2, it will be focused a little bit more on basics, just the fundamentals of being in a Model UN conference, but our level 3 and 4 classes will be more competitive. The students will have a better idea of how it works. So we're going to focus more on preparing than just kind of understanding, if that makes sense. Jeremy, question. If you do BP World Styles and I've been to Hard House, then can I register? Of course. Jeremy, even if you didn't go to BP or World, you can register with us. It's not a problem, man. I got to be honest, guys. Model N is just really, it's competitive, but it's also cooperative. It's not, I'm going to destroy you and you're going to destroy me or something like that. It's a group setting. We're trying to solve poverty or we're trying to improve education. So it's a really kind of welcoming environment. How about siblings? Can siblings attend? So I think we have two different questions. One is attend, one is observe. We're more than happy to have students join us in the competition. I can't promise you they want to be in the same room together. They might want to be in different rooms. But in terms of committees, they probably would not be in the same committee. It's going to be randomly distributed, but we don't take observers. We encourage everyone to fully participate, even if you're terrified, even if you don't say a word. We want you to be in that room. We don't want you to just sit there. It's not valuable. Just try, guys. Just try. Mm-hmm. And non-related to SUNS, CCI. Oh, Lucas, yes. So LinkedKey will handle registration. Like I will, handle it because it's through teacher advisors. We will have a link. Shan, do we have a link for CCI on the website? Okay, so Lucas, it should now be published on the website. I appreciate your patience. So if you go through LinkedKey, like LinkedKey's portal, give us your information and we'll handle registration. So guys, just to clarify, many conferences don't allow independent students to register. So LinkedKey would be like an institution you can go with if your school doesn't normally go. Any other questions, guys? Anything at all? Go ahead, feel free.
Well, you can turn on your microphone. And
yeah, you can just ask me, guys. Oh, Eric and Cindy, did you guys have your hands up from before, or do you guys have a question for us? Maybe it's from before. We have a student in the audience. Do you have any questions? You good? You're good? Okay. Guys, feel free to ask any questions you'd like. Any questions at all? And what's the best way to contact LinkedKey? Email or WeChat?
Well, either maybe email to info@linkedkey.com. Maybe Shen, you can type it up. info@linkedkey.com, or maybe call us. 647 872 61111, or WeChat. Well, I mean, there many different ways you can get hold of us, right? We're here. We're always here.
Yeah. Again, guys, please feel free to call LinkedKey. Just don't call me. I won't give you my phone number. Just so you guys know. Any other questions, guys? Any questions at all?
Wait, excuse
one more from Ryan.
Oh, how do you recommend what level of class we take? So typically what happens is if you're kind of like in high school, try like our level 3 class. And if you're like in elementary, try our level 1. But when you join a class with me, especially for the first time, I will probably personally recommend to you if you should switch levels. Because once I see you in my class, I'm like, you know what? I think you're more suitable for like a level 4. Maybe you need to move up a level. Or maybe you need to go to a different class or different level. So my recommendation is if you're in high school, try our level 3. If you're younger than high school, try our level 1. And again, guys, we quickly promote. We just want to make sure you find the class that's appropriate for you. Sorry?
Sorry, the registration? Yeah, the SSUNS registration. I mean, you guys can find the hyperlink.
Sorry, you said 4th registration? Oh, right now. So guys, spots are already filling up. Somebody's already just signed up. So guys, sooner than later, it's going to be advantageous. Any other questions, guys? A student asked me, this is not an important question, while you guys are thinking of questions, student asked if I can join the dance. Unfortunately, guys, I cannot. No teachers allowed. But if you win, I'll dance for you. No problem. Any other questions, guys? Again, even if you have a little bit more personal questions, we don't mind answering them. If you feel like you've had all your questions answered, you're more than free to head out, guys. We don't want to keep you guys forever. Would you like to provide a closing statement? And then parents who want to talk to me one-on-one, I can chat with them one-on-one?
Sure. I mean, I don't have much more to say. I think we pretty much covered everything. But obviously, if you guys want to stay behind, you're welcome to do so. Nirpan and myself, I think we're going to stay for another 10, 20, or whatever you need minutes. again, we want to see you. I want to see everyone at SUNS in Montreal. And, you're welcome to join us always. Try to sign up as early as you can. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nirpan. Oh,
and yes, there's one more last question.
Okay.
So, Jeremy, what I would say is, which grade are you in, Jeremy? Jeremy, if you're grade 9, and which location are you thinking of? Are you closer to Mississauga or North York? Okay, if you're in Mississauga and you're grade 9, come check out our level 3 class. Let's see if it's a good fit. I'll be there on Sunday. And honestly, again, even if our classes are a little tough, they will definitely be appropriate, right? We're going to make sure that you're in the appropriate level. So just drop by our level 3 this Sunday and we'll see if that works best for you. And again, guys, we're competitive, but we are very friendly. We're just a part of a team.
Okay, guys, if you don't have more questions, feel free to, enjoy the rest of your night. This is a Friday night. Again, thank you so much, Nirpan, and thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
But if you do have questions, feel free to stay.
Hi, can I wait? I have like one more question to ask.
Yes, for the CCI registration, what does it mean by quadruple room? Oh, Shan, CCI does not have rooms. Yeah. It's local. It's
CCI is a local conference.
Yeah.
No.
You don't need hotel rooms.
Sorry, Lucas. We're gonna adjust that real quick.
Okay, thank you. It's
Great
just
question, by the way. Thank you, Lucas, for bringing that up.
On the registration, just said there was like rooms, and I got confused.
All right, guys. Anything else?
Guys, I'm more than happy to chat. If you guys want to start doing one-on-one, you can. But if you want to head out, feel free. Anybody want to talk to me while I'm here? If you want, we can maybe stop recording if it's like personal questions.
Can I have a personal question right now?